varsel. Hey. Excuse me, sir. Pat me in the back with your little gorilla hands. You little Donkey Kong ass. Thought there was another one over here. Hello. A filthy human. Did other stuff not become undead? Isn't there like undead orcs and stuff? How come undead's only humans? A little kitty cat. I'm out of cool buffs and shit. Out of scrolls. Slice and dice going. Hello, hello, yeah. Oh, my hands are cold. Jesus. A wild cat appears. I feel like you like most of the gorillas, but okay. A waste of core points. An ore. Iron. Just fly a little bit and pull a horse. Mm. Ah. You got it. Have all the shit I do. Not yet. I'll get down to that. I don't know. Aged gorilla sinew. Let us go. I don't know which way to go. Can you run this way? Can I just climb up? Ooh, yeah. Oh I just ended up here again. Okay. Get him, human warrior. Oh, this guy's squishy as hell. Right down, sir.
We need to talk about this billion-dollar threat. Welcome back to the In Good Faith podcast with Philip DeFranco. Wouldn't you know it? My name is Philip DeFranco, and today my guest is Dan Pfeiffer. He's a host for Pod Save America and the Crooked Media Podcast Network, and before that, he was a senior advisor to President Barack Obama. And today, with everything that's been going on, we talked about the redistricting standoff, Trump firing the person in charge of accurate economic statistics, how Democrats can fight back better, and really just so much more. So hey, if you already hit that follow button and gave us 5 stars, just sit back,
where'd you get these? Here.
And enjoy today's show. So Dan, I was gonna come in really to talk to you at first about something lighter, but it looks like Dan Pfeiffer is fiending for a fight this morning. Yes. So I'll set the stage. Last week, jobs numbers come out, looked bad, or we'll say at least not great. Trump hates it. He fires, I believe it's Erica McIntyre.
I remember you, adventurer.
Shiver me
I remember you, adventurer.
Right center, or like, what the hell is this about? This morning, I see you tweet all of these supposedly smart Trump supporters like Chamath and Ray Dalio pretend Trump fired the BLS director because of a disagreement over survey methods. Well, here's what Trump said this morning on CNBC. It's a highly political situation. It's totally rigged. Smart people know it. People with common sense know it. And a lot of people like to keep their head under the covers and just not believe it. So with you coming out of the gate this morning swinging, if that's your view and that's your reaction, are these guys liars or stupid?
Well, I should just say, to give you a sense of how much I'm feeding for a fight, I probably sent that at before 6 a.m. my time.
I don't have to West Coast.
So it's really just out of bed, open up my laptop,
I
and
always
started
lose
swinging.
this guy.
Like, I think that they are both in some senses. I think you have a set of people who decided they were going to support Trump in the 2024 election for some set of reasons. A lot of it probably self-interested, financial. You know, in the case of like the all-in tech bro podcast guys, they were inside the tent all of a sudden with all this access to power, and now they're going around trying to justify and, when you showed Shaky those giblets, and intellectualize the things Trump are doing that they would in any other situation be highly offended by. Because I was watching both, I saw tweets over the weekend from Chamath and from Ray Dalio, the finance guy, making a point that is a legitimate point that maybe there are better ways to get the jobs numbers. Like because like with any, it's a survey. With any survey, you have response rate issues where people aren't responding as much as they were before for all host set of reasons. Is there a better way to do it? And if that were Trump's argument, that would be a thing. But that's not what Trump's argument is. Trump has no thoughts on survey methodology, and he said when he did it that they were corrupt. And so just like be honest with yourself. You can say I like Trump, but I don't like what he did here. But don't try to go around trying to like intellectualize the obviously just like spur of the moment authoritarian. And this is a very dangerous thing. Like we sort of laugh about it, but the jobs numbers move the market. They help the Fed governors decide whether to set interest rates. So if those are rigged, or even if there's a perception that they're rigged, why would whoever Trump puts in, everyone's going to assume because he fired this person for giving numbers that he did not like, is going to assume that the numbers are not legitimate because that person has an incentive to give the numbers Trump wants. And so we're like in a dangerous situation, and one of the ways authoritarians succeed is because powerful stakeholders just give in instead of actually calling out what's happening. So yeah, I'm kind of fired up this morning. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I guess I was a little confused because it seems like why does he go this route? Which maybe potentially it buys him some months of grace with some of the people that support him if the jobs numbers don't change, and we do trust the numbers that continue to come out. When it seems like he could have used this as maybe a hammer to go after Jerome Powell, to go look at the jobs numbers.
So much cooler than
wanted you to go a certain way.
pouring
I don't
capital.
understand that. Do you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, it's all. I think we were in a situation. I remember reading this story about Pat Cipollone, who was the White House counsel in Trump's first term, and what he used to do is Trump would say something, and he would say, "Give me a week to go see if we can get this done." And then by the seventh day, Trump would have forgotten about it. So it was like his tactic to keep Trump from doing the things Trump doesn't want to do. Now everyone in the government tries to be the first person to do what Trump wants to do. So he wakes up, sees the numbers, is pissed off, decides to try to fire this person, and they immediately just fire them instead of trying to think about it. Because if you take a step back, Trump wants rates cut, but he also wants good jobs numbers, and those things don't actually work. So he's in a situation right now where he was, if these numbers were legitimate, and they are legitimate, but it would get him his rate cut. But instead, he's doing the thing that it makes no sense, and there are people helping him do the thing that makes no sense.
Well, so with the numbers with the numbers that come in next, do you have a fear? Because I was listening this morning to Bill Beach, right? He's the former head of BLS in 2017. Yep. He was a Trump appointee. He's freaked out by this change. He thinks it doesn't make sense, but his mindset seems to be there's going to be a perception issue, but also the numbers. He has faith that they will continue to be correct because of the people that are working in that department. Like you said, there is a conversation about funding and where they're putting money and methodology that things could be better. But he has a faith and a trust there. And as someone that comes from, I think, a very strategic background, do you think that the focus on do we trust these numbers? What's the impact in a market to the market going to be if everything is business as usual? Does that kind of hurt the messaging of like, okay, well, people keep saying, oh, that's scary, but it ends up actually not being anything that big?
Well, I think the problem here is like the point that I saw Bill Beach make this point about the numbers that came out that made Trump mad, which is there was a system in place. There are people. It's very hard for one person to mess it up because there are all these inputs coming in. Right. The question we just don't have, because there's no transparency in government, is when the next person comes in, right? Like what happens at the end of that product, right? Before it actually comes out. And so we just, like there are definitely some safeguards in the system which may be fine, but we just don't know. And when you erode, this is how he ended up here, is he erodes trust in institutions to the point that people question everything, even when it is well-founded, evidence about everything from Trump's crimes to climate change. And so this just adds a real uncertainty into the economy and what you need. The economy demands certainty, right? Businesses have to be able to plan. They have to be able to think about if the unemployment rate is going up, people will have less money to spend on their products. So they will think about what product lines they're going to launch, what factories they're going to build. And we already have all this uncertainty in the economy from Trump's like on again, off again taco tariffs. This adds something else, and it's very. I find it very, very concerning. Like maybe we just are not. It'll be very hard to have real confidence in the numbers going forward as long as Trump is president, and maybe going forward after that, right? Because it's always like this was a thing. This was a thing no one ever did, right? Like when Obama was president, Jack Welch, who was the former CEO of GE, like really famous business guy. Right before the election, the numbers were good for Obama. And he went on MSNBC. It was on Morning Joe, I think. And it's like, the numbers are cooked. The Chicago guys are cooking the numbers. And everyone, Republicans and Democrats, people in the business community, assailed him because that was such an irresponsible thing to say. But now we're not only just like, that was just a guy outside, like a well-respected business person outside of government. Now you have the president firing the person who gives the numbers. Like, that's concerning.
Right, and I mean, a lot's changing now. A lot's going to be changing in the the near future when we start looking at a 1 to 2 year window. I mean, it's connected, but I mean, do you think that the central bank independence is going to last, whether it be perception-wise or whatever the reality is on the ground?
I'm very concerned about it because we know that this Republican Senate will confirm a ham sandwich, right? They've done Pete Hegseth, they've done Tulsi Gabbard, they've done RFK Jr., and so Trump is obviously only going to appoint someone who he thinks is going to do what Trump wants when Trump wants it. And so will the Republicans confirm that person? Probably. And then you have that person in for potentially for 10 years. So yeah, I am concerned about that. And if you start cutting rates at a time, we're going to spike inflation, growth is down. It's all very dangerous, right? There's a reason there is an independence in the Fed, and it's not just in this exact moment in the American economy. Is if like the U.S. dollar is the world's currency, right? It is the safest investment in the world, and if people start to question whether U.S. monetary policy is being politicized, that is going to reverberate across the world. I am not an expert in any of this, but the people who I've talked to about this on Pod Save America and elsewhere scare the shit out of me, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about that, and then, but when you talk about they'll confirm anyone, it makes me think of, the Republicans in Congress.
Have to be deaf, blind, or Helen Keller to have been on anime social media recently and not seen 1,000,001 memes about the new Rental Girlfriend chapter. I barely even use social media anymore, and I have seen so many memes of it that I can't even close my eyes without seeing Kazuya standing there without a boner for once. If you are listening to me yap and you have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, I wouldn't believe you, because that would mean you have a life. Now, I'm going to give you a little background as to what Rental Girlfriend is before I talk about the new controversy, just so you guys understand.
I got more flying to do. Okay, 3-minute chess game. He takes, I take. Take that while developing a piece. Develop a piece, pressure his queen. No scrolls? No scrolls, sir?
Where would you like to fly to?
Tanaris, please. I didn't work out for him. Did not work out for him. Didn't realize he wasn't ready for my shit. Ooh. Nighttime? Ooh. Wanna be total. I'm running out of time though. I gotta lock in. Multitasking.
Hello. Oh, you spoke to my cousin Krazek? How is he? I hope Booty Bay is treating him well. Scarab shells, you say?
Scarab shells,
The
you say?
scarabs of Tanaris have very hard shells.
I bet they do. I bet they do.
Ah, our model 4711 FTZ power sources. You want...
Oh. I don't know if I was meant to pick that one that quest up yet. Guy's just not gonna play anymore? He's over it. Winner. Winner.
And, you know, obviously, House Republicans, they're going to soon have a vote on tariffs.
Yeah.
Do you think that it's going to be another rubber stamp situation, or do you think, can the polling get to a place where they actually do something, where they actually take a stand to any meaningful degree, rather than three people act like they have a different opinion, but it feels safe to because they know it's going to pass anyway?
I think that can only happen after the filing deadlines are done, so that Republicans are no longer worried about a primary. What they're so scared about right now is that Trump will back their opponent and they will lose their primary. Next spring, most of those primary deadlines will be over, so then at least for this next election, they will not have a fear that Trump can run a primary opponent against them. So there's a chance we might see a modicum more independence after that moment, but right now they would, like, they view this, even the ones in very like purple districts view this in a two-step process. They have to get through their primary first, and if Trump backs their primary opponent, they will lose. This is why
Adventurer, you're back. You found Martek. You spoke with him.
Race. And then once they become the nominee,
Oh,
then
they're
maybe
gonna
they can possibly find some
Hey, Quentin.
independence. But I don't have high hopes for it. No one ever made a lot of money betting on the political courage of congressional Republicans. So
I was hoping that...
Well, okay, but so as we get closer to the midterms, and we're
If
still...
you ask me, I think the goblins are a shoo-in.
God, it's almost been, we're months
You're
away
the
from
person
today,
that's
a
been
year
helping
eventually,
pots...
away from the election. People are still finding, lines in the sand, talking points. It even feels like over there with Pod Save America, although I don't think you were a part of the specific podcast that day or that second.
All right, make a distraction, Zemek.
Let's go.
Let's go, buddy. Well, that looks like a joke car. On the ground, huh? Not even a desk. Questionable. What engineering supplies do you have? That's cool. We'll have that for later. That's a remote.
Injurium?
I will not repeat Endurium more.
Adventurer, you're...
Are we gonna run back? God damn. Oh. Not a bad. Not great though. The Fizzlebub. The bearer of this letter and I are devising a business venture that we welcome you to join. As you know, I spend much of my time in the Shimmering Flats. The aforementioned business venture deals with the races of these flats. Racing, and more specifically gambling races, interest you. Please read on, for I feel that knowledge of the Stranglethorn will be useful in your scheme. Rocket cars at flats are highly tuned and require extreme maintenance, so it's not surprised that the pictures are kept on at all times. It's a force elapse the picture is seeing. Are we able to out of the wits of the gnomes help us? Just drug them?
You there? It's time for you to be a big helper to the Gadgets and Water Company. The waste...
It?
Segment. You guys got a lot of attention over Israel and Gaza. And I wanted to know, like, when you guys go into, and I'm going to oversimplify it, you could walk through for the audience, like, when you guys are about to put out that episode, is there a conversation of, you know, what does this say for our brand, our audience, Dems in general, independents out there? Like, what's what's the conversation? Because it made a splash.
Yeah, I think as you mentioned, I was not part of that episode. I do Thursdays. That was, or I do Fridays. That was a Tuesday episode. I aligned. I talked a little bit the next episode that I aligned with much of what they said there. I think we, like anyone who is in politics, you have to think about the impact of what you say, right? That it has some impact, not just on your podcast or your brand, but also Like how will it be weaponized against Democrats? Like we know that Fox News loves to do a Obama pod bros do trash X, right? Like that should never change how we feel. Like that was I told my co-host I think that was one of the best episodes they ever did because it was very raw and honest and heartfelt, and like that's how they believe that's what we should say. But you have to at least think about, like, anytime I think anyone on the platform opens their mouth, like what are the ripple effects if you say these things, right? Are people gonna listen? Are they gonna be mad? Are they going to want to distance themselves? But if you sincerely believe it,
pull a lot of boys.
You just gotta say it. Like this is what, like as someone whose job for most of my career before podcasting was to say the words. I was speaking for someone else, right? President Obama, other politicians I work for, and there is something liberating about being able to just say what you think, right? And let's be honest, like, we don't work in the White House. When you work in the White House, what you say really matters, right? Any like junior press person could cause a market crash by saying the wrong thing, or cause an international incident by saying the wrong thing. Host of a podcast, people listen, right? Obviously, like we're very fortunate with the audience we have, but it's not the same stakes, I'd say.
Right. I imagine they don't. Well, anyone can tie anything to anyone, but I imagine people don't go. Well, that's essentially Obama saying it, right?
Yeah, I think much to probably President Obama's probably happy about this now, but people do not attribute what we say to him directly after all these years.
Is it still for?
So I guess what has the reaction been to kind of saying that the next Dem nominee shouldn't accept AIPAC money, that military aid to Israel needs to be cut off, that it can't go back to a pre-October 7th status quo? What has that been for, I guess, people that and then people that maybe were never interested, or maybe were against the Pod Save America group?
Yeah, I think if you had been listening to Pod Save the World, which is the Tommy Vitor and Ben Rhodes' podcast, which focuses on international affairs, none of what was said there would be surprising. They have been incredibly aggressive critics of of how Israel's connected to the war in Gaza. They were very, very aggressive critics of how the Biden administration and the Biden administration's strategy, Israel. I think for some people who maybe don't listen to that podcast, who don't pay as close attention, because the clips of what my co-host said went viral, there are probably some folks on the left who were pleasantly surprised, right? The assumption might have been that we were, I think our ideology, both individually and as a podcast, is a little more complicated than I think people assume. But I think for a lot of people on the left, there's a lot of like those neoliberal pod bros who say this and assume that on every issue maybe that we're more in line with the Democratic establishment than they are, and I don't think that's actually the case, and it's certainly one where they're not. And I think some people, who we, are friends with and agree with and have worked with, just fundamentally disagree on that, and that's been and our criticism of
gouges me.
Israeli conduct in Gaza, and then previously the Biden administration's strategy for that has been a point of contention with some of our former colleagues for a long time now.
Well, I guess I mean, do a lot of those conversations end up, unfortunately, equating being against what Netanyahu is doing with automatically being anti-Semitic? Is there a lot of conflation when you have those conversations?
In some corners, yeah, for sure. In some corners, not necessarily with people in good faith, right? Like I think you can have good faith disagreements on this stuff, but like on Twitter, that is a very common. It's a common tactic from the right. It's something that even dates back to when Obama was doing the Iran deal, and when people, I was leaving right about the time that was coming together, but like when it was trying to pass in Congress years later, like that was a common attack from a lot of the sort of neoconservative right would be. If you're for the Iran deal or you're against Israel on this thing, you disagree with Netanyahu, that equates to anti-Semitism, or just criticism of Israel equates to anti-Semitism as opposed to criticism of the Netanyahu government. So I think I think you can have a good faith disagreement on these issues, but I think that happens in the less good faith part of the conversation.
Well, okay, so if you're having an in good faith conversation there, I mean, how do you navigate it there, where you go, okay, well I think that it's not that, and this is why. Yeah,
I think you just like sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. Right, with people who have disagreements there, like just they're like you can like my argument when I've had these conversations with people is simply, like, we can put us, like, a lot of the conversation around
Empty hip flask? This guy's just drinking
in Gaza
in the desert? Seems rough.
Going backwards into this conversation of, like, whose fault is it? How did we get here? What role does Hamas have? What the Hamas, ministry, the Gaza Ministry of Health is Hamas run, and therefore we can't trust them. And just say, like, my view is to tell people, so we put that aside for right now, is you have starving people, particularly starving children, and whether the number is as high as the ministry says, or even a fraction of that, it's too many starving children, and it is true that Israel can do more to get aid to these people. So let's just ask them to do that, right? To try to, like, this focusing on, when you focus on this specific part of it, try to, like, that's the place where maybe you can sometimes find some common ground. That's like that. This is we can save children's lives if people do more. And this, to make the point that it is true that Hamas has real responsibility. Like, it obviously has real responsibility. Like, without October 7th, we're not in this situation. One of the most horrendous terrorist attacks in American history. But Israel is an American ally for more than a half century here, right? They've been our partners across the board. It is not. We can and should hold Israel to a higher standard in this situation than Hamas, which is a terrorist organization. Yes, I would love it if Hamas would do more to help its people, but why would we expect them to do that? They knew this was a likely consequence of the attack they did on October 7th. So yes, Israel can and should do more to sort of get to there. Like, these are very, like, Middle East peace has never been an easy conversation to have in any, going back centuries now. But obviously, it's a very freighted conversation with people like who are operating in good faith right now, for sure.
Right. And when you look at both sides right now, where there are drastic divides among existing bases regarding Israel and Gaza, do you think that we are going to see a shakeup? Maybe not necessarily going into the midterms, but into the next presidential, because polling, right, shows just an overwhelming majority of Democrats do not approve of what Netanyahu is doing. Republicans, it's kind of stayed steady at around, I feel like, 70% support, but if you go online, those who are against it are incredibly against it. The president's
advantages.
This is an America first, this is Israel first. Like, do you think that we are going to see, to some degree, swapping, or is it just people expressing their displeasure? If you were to guess based off what you're seeing,
it's pretty, like, maybe you end up with a barbell effect where you have people on both sides, right? Who, like,
understand everything that is going down. So if you do not know what rental girlfriend is, or you also don't know what the new chapter is, then don't watch this beyond this point, because there's going to be spoilers, okay? The plot completely dumbed down of the series is that we have our main male lead, Kazuya, who is a dorky guy who is just constantly horny and doesn't have a lot of female experience. He decides one day to use one of Japan's services called a rental girlfriend, where you can have a girl who pretends to be your girlfriend for a few hours, and it's not sexually, all you do is really go on dates, maybe hold hands, that's it. And the girl he rented was named Chizuru, who turned out to be a total bombshell. And Kazuya, lo and behold, ends up falling in love with Chizuru. And for the whole series, they do this song and dance of will they, won't they, all the while Kazuya ends up doing a lot of weird shit. The plot is way more nuanced than that, okay, I promise? Don't come after me, anime Twitter! But what really makes this series isn't the story, but rather the relationship between the two main characters, Kazuya and Chizuru. Because even though you're looking at the relationship and you have no idea as to what the hell it is, throughout the entire series, by the way, you have no idea what you're looking at. But you can tell that the relationship is very deep. And it was forged over years of leaning on one another during hard times, like overcoming loss of friendships, finding themselves, dealing with death. And I mean constantly, it's a will they, won't they. You have no idea what their relationship really is at all, but there's one thing that's for sure, and that is Kazuya is deeply in love with Chizuru. He professes it quite a lot, and besides that, I mean, he's tried dating other people to overcome his feelings for her, but he couldn't. anytime she needs him, no matter
Oh,
what
something
he's
gets bugged?
doing, who's he with, he could be on a date with somebody else, and he'll just come running to
That's
her.
bugged.
I mean, bro even made a movie. He literally funded and created the entire setup for a movie so Chizuru could accomplish her dream of being a lead actress, which, in the end, once the movie was finished, had other producers looking at it and being like, damn, you're a good actress, come work for me.
Okay.
Which led, further for her dream to be ongoing and a feasible thing. Bro really did that. And
I'll
although
leave those
Kazuya
guys.
seems like the most dreamiest guy maybe in this description, he is not without his his controversy. The first controversy that I'm sure a lot of us early Rental Girlfriend readers and enjoyers can remember fondly is Kazuya's stalker period. Stalker life, I should say, because it started from the early chapters. He doesn't really stop. And it starts when, in the beginning of chapters, when he realizes that he's in love with Chizuru, he decides to follow her when she's rented on dates with other people. And I'm not talking like quirky little, I'm just eavesdropping, but no, he literally goes behind a telephone pole, goes and sits in a restaurant. He just follows her wherever they go. And then to add insult to injury, he gets really upset by it. He gets really pissed off that she's going on dates with other people, gets really jealous, and it's like, bro, she's a rental girlfriend. And then what adds insult to injury to fucking massacre is he doesn't see any issue with stalking her, because he does it a lot more throughout the series after that. And then we have Pool Boner Gate, where Kazuya tries to confess his feelings to Chizuru, but due to plot reasons, Chizuru has to run away. And Kazuya takes it as he gets rejected by her. So what does he do? What any of us really would. Go into a pool and imagine the person that rejected you being f***ed by multiple guys, all the while you're crying underwater with a big, massive boner in a public pool. He bawled his eyes out while his balls bawled with him too. Honestly, reading that back, no wonder cuck is one of the main tags under this manga, officially, by the way. But even with his faults, Chizuru still has some form of feelings for him. What kind? I don't fucking know. Actually, I could argue, I think a lot of us are very confident we knew her feelings for him. Why? Because she constantly alluded to it! She would always say a lot of leading things throughout the series like, oh, if I was your girlfriend, or I can see myself having feelings for you. And honestly, that's partially what led to this massive controversy right now. And because this recent chapter has so many people in a tizzy, I had to break my vow. My vow that I would not touch, I would not even breathe this manga again until it was finished, until I could get this dumpster fire over and done with in one sitting. But I saw the—
I'll in a second, thank you.
what happened, and I was like, fine. So I reread everything all again to the most recent chapter. And I will say, yeah, because it is certainly something. This new saga starts with, after years of them pretending to be boyfriend and girlfriend, deciding, hey, why don't we actually go on an official date to figure out our feelings for each other? Like a date where you don't have to pay me? You don't have to go through a website and rent me out? And Kazuya, when he hears Chizuru's like, yeah, I'll go on a date with you, he is just beside himself, okay? He puts down $1,000 on a new outfit. He gets his hair done. He finds a place that he wants to have a date and make sure it's perfect. So much so that he goes the day before the date to the location to scout out the areas that have the most romantic settings, the best food, the most places he thinks she will have the most fun.
Creepy.
Either way, bro worked hard. Like, he knew he was going on a date with Jesus Christ Superstar, okay? It had to be perfect because this is the girl to him. But more than that, they both knew that this date would be defining everything. This would be the date that made Chizuru either realize that she had feelings for Kazuya or that she didn't want anything to do with him. She would need to stop prancing around. The day of the date comes and they are both nervous as shit because, hey, it's the goddamn day. This is the day that everything's going to change. Either for the best or for the worst. Who knows yet? And also, it's their first real date, okay? Who's not a little nervous on their first real date? And so they get to their date location, which is an indoor amusement park chosen by Kazuya. And the indoor amusement park is way more crowded than the day before when he was scouting it. So a lot of the attractions and restaurants and everything that he was preparing were completely filled up with people. Everything at least had a wait of over an hour, and Chizuru wanted to try out this stuff. She wanted to go on the rides, so they decided to wait in the lines even though they were long as shit. I personally could never do that, but okay. I would be like, I'd rather just go figure something else out. There in Odaiba, there's a lot of shit to do. And while they were waiting in line, Chizuru wasted no time asking the real questions, okay? She wanted to know what she wanted to know to see if he would be the good boyfriend for her. And she did not hold back. She really grilled him. She was asking questions like, oh, what do you want to do with your life after university? Or what do you think the line is for cheating? Or how many kids do you want? It's the first fucking date, girl. Like, you're lucky he wants to bang you so bad. Otherwise, any other guy would be running. Who asks how many kids you want on the first date? And he answered these questions with the most vague ass answers, like, I don't know. How many do you want? Oh, I don't know what I want to do after university. Like, bro, you have 1 year left. How are you not figuring that out? Okay. Oh, I don't know what my line of cheating is. What do you want to hear? But the only one he could give a definite answer to was definitely the most important one, was Chizuru asking the final question of, why do you love me? How do you know you love me? Because she's never felt any type of love for anybody else before, and she doesn't know what about her is like so appealing to him. Not because she doesn't think she's lovable, but because, yeah, she doesn't really know how people could feel like that towards anything. And he gave her the most honest, straightforward answer that even had me swooning. I'm like, okay, maybe you're not such dog shit after all. In his mind, he was thinking her smile, how passionate she is about acting, her ass. Literally said all of it. All of it. Most of it was in his head, but still, he said it. And after a while, Chizuru started letting up on the questions, and they started paying more attention to having fun on their date. They were going on more rides. They were having a lot of fun, trying about just different foods and exploring different things. They were even in a haunted house, and Chizuru grabbed onto Kazuya because she was scared. It was a very intimate moment. But the final moment at the indoor amusement park was what really kind of put the date all together. They ended up doing a compatibility fortune that ended up saying they were 100% compatible. And that both made them just feel like, holy shit, like, this is the real thing. I think for most people, if they ever did a compatibility thing, most would be like, you know, whatever about it. But considering this date was, they both know, them figuring out if they should be together or not, this was a pretty defining moment of the entire date. And in the end, they had an amazing day and were just glowing. They had a nice dinner, they chatted lots, and though the nerves were still there, they were just full of piss and vinegar to each other. And after she started asking the hard-hitting questions to Kazuya and he gave the answers, you could tell she was opening up herself a bit more to the thought of being in a relationship with him. She would say things like, oh, if I was your girlfriend, what would this be like? Or, oh, if we had a life together, what would you think of that? Would this type of thing be okay? I think everyone reading without knowing the outcome was thinking, this is it. This is finally going to be the ending of this pissy, prancy, dancy little bitch. Bitch would stop dilly-dallying, do the world a service, and hop on this guy's dick, or at least get by somebody else in front of him, and give us some reprieve from this horny-ass motherfucker. After they had their dinner, they decided to go to the beach, and they were feeling good. They had some drinks with dinner. They were both a little bit tipsy.
I assume not.
They were looking at the beach, and the view of the city was just completely romantic. This was the defining moment. This was the moment that things were finally going to be resolved. It is here where she drops the bombshell. She states, with her whole titties and her heart out, that she could see herself falling in love with him. But she doesn't want to be with him. She doesn't think that he would fit in any part of her life right now. At least not as her boyfriend. And man, guys, I was shook because how the fuck? What? And I clearly am not the only one who felt like this because the whole internet was making so many posts about it. The internet was outraged, man. And it was not by one obvious answer either, because the internet was divided. It was either Team Kazuya or Team Chizuru. There were so many memes about Kazuya, so many memes about Chizuru. But in all honesty, I think the people most outraged are f***ing stupid, because I don't think they even really read the chapter. I don't really think they knew what was going on. They just saw that she rejected him and kind of made their own basis. And while some of the arguments used as to why they feel either way about either character are somewhat valid, they don't really make sense with the
power
recent
source
chapter.
is yours.
The reason why people were
Now,
hating
it
on
isn't
Kazuya
completely
for being
designed-
rejected in this chapter was because why was he confessing
Greetings,
in the first
adventurer.
place? You know,
The name's
why,
Luglunket, and we've got an
did he
important job
feel
for you.
the need to feel romantic feelings for somebody who was renting out anyway, and instead of just not being a coward, kept renting her out and making her pretend to be his girlfriend rather than just saying his feelings. And also crossing a lot of personal boundaries and just in general being a total creep. And people are pissed because the fact that even after all of that, after everything, he still wants her to be with him. And that's what mostly pissed people off. And you know what? I kind of get it. But in this chapter, he didn't pay her to be on a date with him. She wanted to go on this date with him to figure out her feelings. Because although throughout this entire series, Kazuya is a total piece of human excrement by being constantly pervy to whatever girl ever walks by him ever. Literally just chapters of him talking about a girl's tits and ass, bro. And he also doesn't respect any boundaries as well. In this chapter, he was the perfect gentleman. I was left thinking, maybe you seemingly aren't just a massive piece of human shit that is just disgracing this planet. Like, after she rejected him, he took it like a champ. He didn't cry. He didn't do anything. He gave her space and said, listen, I understand. Totally fine. And even after that, when he noticed that she hurt her foot after wearing new shoes, he said that he'd carry her home, and he did. He even talked to her like normal, like he didn't just get rejected by her, because he could tell that she felt awkward and didn't really know what to feel around him. And he didn't want her to feel uncomfortable. And people are hating on Chizuru because Kazuya spent so much money renting her out throughout the series, like that isn't her job. Honestly, when I saw those tweets, I got pretty pissed off because, bro, what the fuck? It's her job. Just because he was a sub on her Patreon doesn't mean she has to fuck him or even be with him. Chizuru did not owe Kazuya shit just because he rented her out. And if you agree with that, you're fucking messed up. Honestly, maybe you should rent a girlfriend so you could find a girl to actually talk to you for once. Both characters suck in this series in their own right, but after reading this chapter, I couldn't find really any plausible reason to dislike them. Do I know why Chizuru rejected him? Obviously, I don't, okay? This is my guesstimate. Because I got theories. I have no doubt that Chizuru has feelings for Kazuya. I mean, it was obvious throughout the entire chapters of their date that she was not, you know, you'd have to be blind not to see it. But there's clearly something holding her back. Like, maybe she knows that if he became her boyfriend, it could affect her work. And I mean, this is her dream? Or maybe, and most likely in my opinion, she isn't sure she can even love somebody because, yeah, again, she didn't understand why Kazuya could love her just because she's never really felt like that towards anybody before. Or also maybe she didn't want to start a relationship with somebody that clearly has more feelings for them than they do for you. You know, she would want maybe to start a relationship that's on equal grounds in terms of feelings, which is understandable. And though I can definitely agree with that, it's kind of incredibly f***ed up to start a rejection with saying, I think I might be in love with you, but... Like, girl, I know your entire personality is going like, I don't know, but what the fuck? And then to give the reason, oh, I just don't think you can fit into my life? Like, huh? Be more specific, Chizuru! Okay, if you were just gonna say that, then why the fuck did you just start with, oh, I might be in love with you? Like, give more detail as to why he doesn't fit into your life. Give us more detail, because I'm less confused, girlfriend! And I know you're the mysterious sort of, what's my answer? I don't know, you guess you'll have to see, but we don't ever see, Chizuru. We never see. And maybe that's your appeal. Maybe that's your story, girlfriend, but I had it up to here. Who sent a rejection like that? Can you be honest for one fucking minute in your life, Chizuru? I need the tea. I need to feel that tea whispering down my body, Daddy, boyfriend, girlfriend.
Whispering down. Pretty good line. Let's see what I have. Plenty. Mm.
Friend, figure it out! Hey, Chizuru, there's this thing called communication.
Okay. Well, that's a lot of framing. I can't say I'm crazy about it. A cool org. Jesus. What are my hotkeys? Ah! Okay. Oh damn, 740. I gotta turn my shit off. My laser. I gotta just change the hotkeys to be the same on both. What the fuck? That's speed reload, okay. Oh. Blah 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 blah. This guy thinks he can get me. Oh, he finally gets me, huh? He finally got me. Wow, 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 we were. That's a bad time to ADS, huh? I'm just missing. Oh, I missed a lot there. The boys. Oh, the order's good. Mid. Fuck. I'm bad. Oh, ho, ho. Look, I knew I was up. Wow, wow, wee, wow. Excuse me, sir? There we go. It just fucking spawns in front of me, dude. That makes me real mad. Every time I see this guy, he actually shits right in my breakfast. Ooh. Whoopsies. The bullet fucked my aim up. He was ill-prepared. Ooh, he was prepared. Ba-da-ba. Ba-da-boop. Ba-da-boop. You can use a KSM. Make a KSM build. There's a long ass loading screen. And there's more. There's more loading screens. After that loading screen. Do-do-do-do. I need a million rebels? Jesus. Who can use that? Just Enforcer. Hey. Oh, I can't look at Power Mag yet. Well, that's gonna suck. I do need the big one. Huh. Oh, it's a bigger magazine, huh? Mm-hmm. 35, 115. Alright, it's way better, huh? Don't need that shit. $82, $42. Very barrel. Try pistoling some people. Iceberg. Boop. This game, Bay 5 only. Oops. Heck Lazarus. Boo. Boop. Boop. Was it 296 before? Okay. Doop. 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 Try out Ella shotgun. Whoa, what a cool shotgun. Jesus. What is this? That might be real bad for shotguns.
Whenever you're in the arena, you'll hear this fucking noise. I make that shit work. You do whatever the fuck I tell you to. No one rules the arena like 5, 4, 3, 2.
I'm gonna go A. That gun looks crazy. Wait, is that the other gun? I am not used to this gun. It's going to be a challenge. 1-800 head eyes. I'm already angry at this gun. Can't use that gun on this map. I need Bay 5 that shit. I don't know this weird ice scope I got going on here. Ah! Bad time trying to reload. Fucking murder everyone. Murder everyone. Murder everyone. Murder everyone. Must murder everyone. Must murder everyone. Whoa! Holy shit, okay. Someone's not fucking around. I'm getting actually clowned on. Just permanently facing the wrong way. I get Pab 9 to Oblivion? Holy shit, dude. We're getting destroyed. Oh. That hit fire, though. What? Thank you, Herbie. turn this fucking flashlight off. Let's laser off. Hiya! Ah! Berserk mode. Alright, get back into the MP7 mix though. Slowly but surely. I thought that was like a person somehow. Got it! Just guns me down, dude. Oh, fuck me. What a good peek. I was so ready for the guy out there. Just obviously not. This guy's actually crazy sneaky, dude. What? What? I'm never ready for this dude. He's everywhere. We lose. Spear is so good. that? Oh, match is played. What's a vector? Dope. Banana. Oh, why? Okay. Kill. That woman's. I'm not sure. One second, I just started the game. Sorry, I'll be done in a sec. Looping turn. Do 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 do. We are coming, you hear? Why am I kind of laggy? What? Immediately. How many bullets did that guy hit each to the dome? This did not die particularly quickly. One sprinting around in the open. Look away for a second, dude. For a second. Dong. Fuck. It's shot from. Nice work, buddy. I heard something. Damn it. There's a great little spot there. should have known. Okay. Up there already, huh? I wonder if it's worth having proper knowledge in every class. Probably just trying to heal us, really. Trying to push up there is so painful, actually. Anger. Well, I feel like I was behind the wall. I'll pause at that. Ah. Ah. I have to better split up. Try to get a point. shooting there. I thought he was dead. Why would you not? He was a heady bleed. A waste of time. What's my hope there? Oh, there's a lot of boys.